because I can't be contained. I'm a rebel. I don't know what's gotten into me, guys. Started out the video thinking I was talking to a lot of people. Halfway through, decided I'm alone in a room talking to a camera. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're gonna be playing with new makeup, but mainly I'm gonna be reviewing this new stuff from Kjaer Weis. I don't think that this eyeshadow is new, but it's new to me. I ended up getting a beige shade. They don't put the shade names on anything because you buy the pants of it from the package, but regardless, these really intrigued me because they are more of like a complete thought from Kjaer Weis. You know, it's actually like a color collection. So this is the shades Effervescent, Happy, and Flourish in this blush cheek palette. I guess that's a highlight, you know, but those are blushes. I'm gonna be putting those on, but I also have some other stuff to try. That's not gonna be final thoughts worthy today, but stuff that I thought you guys might wanna put on my face with me. And we're gonna be just getting a nice little beachy golden glow today, something a little bit ethereal, and then I will have final thoughts on the Kjaer Weis stuff for you guys at the end. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, the first thing that I just got in the mail is, and I bought this, the Creme Solaire from Typology. I needed to reach a shipping threshold when I ordered their new concealer. Are you guys, by chance, interested in a review on their new concealer? I couldn't tell by how many people have messaged me. I appreciate you guys so much. It goes straight to my heart, but I mean, I have to joke about it because like every time I post anything, it has nothing to do with like the topic at hand. It'll always be like all these comments being like, are you buying the new Typology concealer? I have it. We are going to put it on today, but I don't have like final thoughts on it yet, regardless. So this is SPF 30. It's a little bit green, I feel like, but I think it's because it's mineral. This is an instructional video on how to apply sunscreen. We're just gonna be using the Typology foundation today. I'm kind of using this as double duty. Also, I just put that like straight in my eye, the sunscreen, and it feels terrible. I'm using this as double duty. You know, I'm gonna film this video, but I'm also going to use it as my first impression kind of wear test for me of this whole face together. What's my hair doing, by the way? Oh yeah, growing back in. That's the foundation we all know and love. And we're gonna put on this concealer. This is the second time that I've applied this concealer. The only thing that I'm not a fan of so far is the fact that it's dark for my skin. This is the fairest shade, and it's just like not quite the right color for me. But it's very sheer, and I still wanna have a review for you guys as far as the formula is concerned. So I'm gonna make it work in the meantime. I also, in order to reach that shipping threshold, ended up getting a thing of reusable cotton pads for my toners and stuff. So I'm actually really excited about that because I had just never really found an excuse to buy any. I was just like using corners of towels and stuff. So that was awesome. And then they also sent me a thing of like hemp oil, which was like a free gift when you spend $75. I was very excited about that. So that, so far, is the Typology concealer. Again, that's not what the review is about today, but I figured if I was gonna put it on, I might as well tell you guys. Let's go in with these. So, one thing that I do have reservations about as far as Kjaer Weis is concerned is that like, I feel like as a makeup consuming community, we're kind of moving past this doesn't dry down type cream beauty formula. Even the Salt New York pigments they have like a temperature that they warm up to, and then they have a temperature that they kind of like chill out at least in my experience. I don't feel like they stay molten on your face. And I feel like when I apply these, you know, a very thin layer, you probably wouldn't notice it, but if you really, really build them up, they start to feel like they're never going to dry down. The formula just feels a little less sophisticated as I guess my tastes change. Regardless, that is Happy, Effervescent, and Flourish. And Flourish is definitely golder, like a little bit deeper than the concealers, than the highlighters that I typically wear, but I'm gonna go ahead and swatch those against the Salt New York pigments for context's sake. So along this side, we have the Kjaer Weis shades, and then here are the Salt New York pigments. This is Cranberry, this is Raspberry, this is Flora, and this is the Beige Highlight. Just for context, you know, these aren't necessarily dupes one way or the other, but just in case you were curious, like if you own one of these and wonder if you need to own all of them kind of thing, you know, just to give you a frame of reference. But I will say that Kjaer Weis does sort of they dabble in a little bit more opacity. So you can see that like these shades over here, in comparison to the Salt New York shades, they seem like they have white mixed into them, you know? And so that is going to lend itself less to every single skin tone, but they do have multiple colorways in this blush palette. But just bear that in mind. You know, that is something that was kind of the initial reservation that I even had when I first tried the Kjaer Weis blushes, was I was like, they have white opacity to them, and that doesn't always work for everybody. All right, I'm going to start with Effervescence, because have you guys ever seen a more fjordsy shade? Look at that, look at that. Done. I'm in that kind of mood today. I just keep making the same joke over and over and over again. So the cool thing about Typology is that all their stuff, even though it's like silicone free, it dries down. I don't understand. So like, even on my chin, I was like, the first time I put it on, I was like, this is gonna stay molten and like greasy feeling, and I was gonna be really disappointed. But it actually has this smoothing effect to it, and then it does actually dry. That's not what the review is of, Jackie. Oh my God, my hair is driving me crazy because it's growing back in. So it's like 50 million different lengths. Hey Freckles. Yeah. So if anyone first saw this and was like, wow, Jackie, that looks like exactly what you would like in terms of a fjordsy shade for your cheeks. Nailed it. It's exactly right. It is perfectly the right color for that. You know, I just really feel like it makes my lips look like really healthy. It makes my cheeks, like that looks really organic, you know? Okay. Now we're going to touch into happy girl, because I'm a happy dog. V pretty. You know, for all of the running around I do with all of my different blushes and stuff, constantly like building and making decisions and watercoloring and things like that, there is something to be said very much like for a palette that really is self-contained and has the, you know, intelligence built into the colors that you're going to actually get a wearable look that you don't feel like you're missing out in just 3 shades. Or 2 shades in this case, you know? I feel like it does actually accomplish that. And so everything that everybody says about them, like grasping the concept of color and, you know, things going together and things like that, story checks out. This is called Flourish. I'm applying it the same way that I did the Salt New York beige highlighter in the last couple of videos. In between, not just, you know, on this high point of my face, but also in between where my concealer meets my blush, because I feel like if you get the color right, it's more of an illusion. However, I'm not sure that I'm getting the color right. It's still a little bit gold. Now, when I put some bronzer on, I think it'll work better, but if I weren't planning on wearing bronzer, it might be just a little bit too gold for my taste. You know, it doesn't quite match my skin. Can you see that? Can you see it? Can you see it? And obviously, because they're all kind of the same formula, I think they all seem to be the same formula, it definitely like pushes the blush around when you put it on top. So that's what I'm talking about, how it just kind of stays molten. But a solution for that is to put a powder bronzer or something like that on it so that, you know, it does set in certain places that, you know, it'll help a little bit. Oh, Khaki, stop using a discontinued brush. So this is some of the Patrick Ta bronzer. Patrick Ta sent me so much stuff. Now, it was stuff that I had talked to my contact over there about sending to me months ago, and she said that she was also sending me the eyeshadow palette very recently, and I was expecting this to be the eyeshadow palette, and it wasn't. It was like 6 blushes and 3 lip glosses, and I was like, so shipping takes 4 months? Because if that's the case, we'll see that eyeshadow palette around Christmas. That's an exaggeration. I didn't feel like doing the math, but still. Okay, I cannot put into words, not that that's also what this video is about, like how much of a godsend this bronzer is for me. It saves every look. And not that this look necessarily needed bailing out, but like, I went from looking cute to looking like I'm thriving. Like, girl just got back from vacation, but she also got a peel. She'd been wearing her sunscreen. She's been drinking a lot of water and getting a lot of rest. That is what this bronzer does for me. It makes me very, very, very happy. And then we just finish it out with the cream contour. So that, you know, there's no line of demarcation up here in my hairline. So far, I'm not really experiencing any annoyance from the Typology concealer or anything. The only thing is I feel like overall my face is just a little bit less contrasty as far as brightness is concerned. You know, I would have wanted just a little bit more brightness underneath my eyes, but that's more of a preference thing than it is like an actual color match thing. I think the color match is actually pretty okay. But it's gonna, you know, it's going to become less and less okay as the cooler months come in. So that's the cheek vibe. Now I have the cream eyeshadow, and I can't pull this out of here because it actually has a little adhesive in there. So the shade will remain a mystery. I'll put it on the screen. But I almost don't even really care because I feel nothing about this eyeshadow. Like, it is the most non-anything, blah, what's the point eyeshadow. Like, who cares? I don't care. Do you care? I'm not gonna convince you to care. Like, it's probably just because it's my skin tone, you know? But like, that's what I love about the Salt New York beige highlighter, is that it's my skin tone, and so you get a really lovely texture. I think I said texture like 7 times inside of 90 seconds in the last video because of that. This gives me nothing. So this was such an immediate pass for me. I was just like, oh, okay. Doesn't matter what light I'm in, that doesn't exist. It's like, it's an actual nothing product. So in lieu of that, I'm going to answer it with some glitter. So I'm going in for this Lawless Bio glitter because that's the vibe that mom is feeling today. I want gold. You know, it's like, would I have necessarily gone for gold in other circumstances? Maybe, maybe not, but I was like so much more disappointed by that eyeshadow that I felt like I needed to answer it with Mardi Gras vibes. Actually, you know, I look like I just washed my face when I got on camera because I had just washed my face when I got on camera, and it was because I had already done this look, more or less. I made some decisions about how I wanted to go about this video. I always like to try a makeup look before I film it. Doesn't always work out that way, but come on. Oh, that is so pretty. And I found that what I wanted to do underneath my eyes was actually Honey from Victoria Beckham because it has more density to the pigment, and so it lends itself very nicely. I need to find a brush that I want to use. Sure. It lends itself really nicely to accentuating that goldness, but also being more pigmented than the Lawless. Because the Lawless calls itself an eyeshadow. It's only an eyeshadow in use case. It's not really an eyeshadow in formula. You know, it's just a glitter. So I'm just using a little bit of that. Honey, one of my faves from VBB. And I'm also going to add a little ethereal touch here. Can you please? With Estrella from Thrive. Gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's right, I accentuate the wrong part of my brow bone because I can't be contained. I'm a rebel. I don't know what's gotten into me, guys. Started out the video thinking I was talking to a lot of people. Halfway through, decided I'm alone in a room talking to a camera. I don't know, I saw Nessa Sunshine do that one time and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too. I'm also going to take some of this Urban Decay little black pencil right here, and I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to tightline up here. Boom. Ooh, what? She has thicker eyelashes. You would never know that I am Phony baloney, huh? Urban Decay gets a lot of flack for, you know, they're kind of hard to follow in terms of their like instincts on making new products and their releases and stuff. But I will say the main thing that they always have on lock is a beautiful long-wearing formula, okay? You know, you can say what you want about their color choices, but their formulas are always flawless. So this stays, and I appreciate that. And then I'm actually also going to do a little bit of regular old eyeliner, but it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be chill. Smodgy. Get that right in the lash line. Get that right in the lash line. I'm gonna take a little bit of my bronzer and go into my crease with it here. Really pull out that illusion. Go along with that exaggerated eyeliner. A little brow moment. And some mascara. Look how thick my lashes look because I bothered to freaking tightline. Yeah. And I'm gonna go for Ginger Lily from Vesca on my lips, and I'm going to wait for that mascara to dry. Can you use bronzer as a setting powder? You have my permission. All right, I'm gonna move you guys out and we will discuss all the other stuff and then final thoughts. Before I move you guys out, I just wanted to show this to you up close. You know, why pay for 4K if you don't do close-ups? I never know if this side is blended because my monitor is over here. I literally can't see this side of my face in my monitor. It's physically impossible. Is that a problem that I could solve? Absolutely. I just don't feel like figuring it out. Let's move you guys out. The Cheek Collective is what they're calling this. It comes in 3 colorways, and I ended up getting, what's it called? The Happy colorway. I will say, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more cool toned, or maybe that the pink is gonna have more of a like slight lilac thing to it online than the way that it looks in person. This almost leans coral in person, and this is much brickier in person. And then the Flourish shade looks pretty doggone dead on. So it is a $111 value, and it is $68. And that actually comes with, you know, the container and everything. They love to just be like, oh, you agreed to this price. Would you like a container for it that costs the same thing as the makeup? Okay, and then they also have Sun Touched. They also have one called Blossoming, which of course Blossoming is not a new shade, but it has the shade Gilded in it, which is very much like a shimmery bronzer, and then Radiance, which is a very shimmery kind of pearly highlight color. So interesting that 2 of them are 2 blushes and a highlight, unless you want to consider Delight 2 blushes and a bronzer, depends on your skin tone, and that the Blossoming colorway is going to have 1 blush, a highlight, and a bronzer. Again, depending on your skin tone. Oh, I also got a lip gloss. I forgot about that. That's like not something that you're supposed to forget about, but like in that moment, I remember putting this on the first time and being like, I think I'm over Kjaer Weis because I hate this smell. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It went from being something that I was ambivalent about to something that I was annoyed by to something that I actually truly detest. And that is the smell that they put in some of their products. It's not the cheek products, but it's in all lip products, and it's in their foundation, their liquid foundation, and their concealer, that liquid concealer. So this is the shade, oh, I could just take a guess, Admire. And I got this again because it looked like it was going to have a nice slight purpleness to it. And this is not a new shade. This Red Hot is the new shade for summer. I'm not a red hot anything person. That just wouldn't look good on me, so there's no point in me reviewing it because I'd be like, hey, this looks bad on me. Duh, we knew that. But the refill here is $22, which is not in itself crazy, and it's an okay formula. It's a pretty color. I like it, you know, and the only thing is, like, you can taste that smell. You can taste it, you can smell it, and it's quite unnecessary. And I'm not going to shut up about it until it's gone. And it's really a shame because these colors are really gorgeous. And this one is just, It's very pretty. Ugh. Blech. Blech. Cream eyeshadow. I got the shade. Oh, maybe I did get a new one. They did have 3 new ones. 4 new ones. I made that up. Ember, Illuminated, Golden, and Smelde. Let me see what I ordered. This did come really fast. I remember the last time that I was annoyed because they were changing warehouses, and so it took literally like 6 weeks for my product to ship, but this came in like 3 days or something, so they have got their stuff back together. Order confirmed. What was it? I got the shade Illuminated. Illuminated is definitely supposed to be pink. I'm gonna put a swatch on the screen next to what I'm holding in my hand, because I see a maybe in some light peach gold leaning taupe, but mostly champagne taupe, and that online looks like a rose champagne, like a straight up like Brut Rosé pink, like could be used as a blush almost. And Kjaer Weis, if you're gonna charge $24 for a pan of eyeshadow, okay, first of all, make it show up on my eyes. Second of all, I would like to know accurately what I'm getting before I buy it. And these shades online are not reflected, so to speak, by what I have in my hands. So that's one of my thoughts. All right, moving into my final thoughts here. So I don't mean to be negative. I have some things that I really love about this and things that I just think I'm a little bit cynical about. So what I really love are the shades. I love how they look on the skin. I do like the skincare quality to it and everything. It's just, I have to say, it is a low-tech formula. There is no dry down, and that's fine. You know, it's fine because I pair it with things that are going to absorb a little bit of that emollient, and I also like the texture that it gives to my skin. But like, if you're new to cream makeup and this is gonna frustrate you to have your skin be slightly tacky, you know, this is gonna make your skin feel slightly tacky. The other thing that kind of grinds my gears here is that this color is not what it looks like online. I don't know if anyone is shopping Kjaer Weis in person. I think they sell it like maybe Neiman's, something like that, but most people are shopping online, and this looked really like cooler and plummier online, and it is pretty much straight down the middle. Like, beautiful shades, yes, but not the same. It is much more neutral in person. And also, this being $68 comes out to about $22 a blush. I don't want to sound negative. I just want to be a reality check, because we do review like a lot of different price points on my channel. This being $68 puts it a little bit more in like the splurge territory for some people that might not necessarily have splurged on one item from Kjaer Weis in the past, and I think that they're doing that on purpose. But don't romanticize that too much. You know, if that's something that you have always been wanting to try and one of these colorways just totally blows your mind and you're really, really excited about it, absolutely. You know, I don't think this is a bad price point, but it is still really expensive. Like $68 for 3 blushes is pretty expensive. We're not talking about Pat McGrath here, okay? I will pay $90 for her 3 blushes all day long. I call that a double standard that I am fully ready and willing to embrace. And that is just because there is technology in Pat McGrath's powder formula. This is, like I said, beautiful, nuanced shades that look different from the swatches online, but not a particularly nuanced formula. And, you know, a pretty small amount of product at the end of the day. The lip gloss. Clean beauty, quote unquote, really takes on a whole new meaning when you're putting something on your mouth, right? You're consuming this, you are eating this product, and you're gonna put a fragrance in it? Like, people really do care about that stuff. Even if you didn't care about your eyeshadow being clean, you might care about your product that's literally being consumed and going in your mouth being a really simple, accountable, you know, ingredient list. But then you're going to put a completely unnecessary ingredient in there, which is not just a fragrance, but an icky fragrance. I always say it smells like old makeup. It smells like expired, scented makeup that you found in, like, you know, your grandparents' bathroom or something. That's a personal memory. But yeah, you know, it smells kind of like old, stale, rosy fragrance. It's yucky. So I love the color. I appreciate $22 for this, you know, as if you are like, if you have the lid and you want to like refill it and everything, you know, $22 is not a crazy price, but take the freaking fragrance out of it. And then I cannot be happier to save you some money. Not only does this not look good on my eyeballs, but it doesn't look like the swatch online either. Kjaer Weis. This is so utterly unfortunate. Like, cause this is one of those brands that has stands, you know, like Hermes has a lot of stands. I don't review them anymore, but you know, every time I would give like any kind of like even slightly critical, nuanced review of an Hermes formula, like the wolves would come for me. The new one is Jones Road Beauty. People will fight you to the death that Jones Road Beauty, that miracle balm is good. And I'm just like, no. I've definitely encountered that with some Kjaer Weis stuff. And so like if your initial reaction to this not being a good eyeshadow is you bought the wrong shade because it's literally the exact same color as your skin. First of all, it didn't look like it was gonna be the same color as my skin online. It looked like it was gonna be pink. And it doesn't show up anyway. It doesn't actually have enough texture for me to believe it enough that I would even want to try another shade. Like that, it's gonna crease. It doesn't dry down. Again, no technology, nothing exciting. And if I were to put that on, you wouldn't even know I had it on. And it was a lot of money. So that is my story, guys. Do I think this is a beautiful face of makeup? Yes, absolutely. Am I really, you know, happy with it? Yes, absolutely. Am I gonna keep using this cheek palette? Yes, absolutely. I think that if it were me, if I weren't buying things for my channel, I would probably still have bought this just because the shades are really great. There's something to be said for something being so self-contained and you not having to kind of fish through your entire collection to layer and watercolor, whatever. Like this really does simplify a routine, especially if you are not a color theory nerd and you want someone to really cut to the chase and do it for you. This cuts to the chase and does it for you. I would highly recommend watching more reviews online for the other palettes because I doubt that those swatches are exactly accurate for all the different colorways of this. Hopefully this helped to illuminate that for you guys a little bit, so to speak. But I do think that this is really beautiful and super useful. Very useful. So them is my thoughts today on that. I'll have reviews for you guys on the typology and everything, you know, once I get my head around it, like next week probably. I have a bunch of other stuff coming down the way too, very exciting things, but I know that everybody is like champing at the bit for that one, so I will get that to you guys as soon as I feel like I, you know, have credibility on the formulas. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're that person who has my notifications on just so that you can show up when the video's been up for about 4 seconds and give it a thumbs down, shout out to you. Cheers, you are living your best life. Thank you guys so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.